Here now, Senator Lindsey Graham. All right, Senator, you've seen all of the reports about this massive convoy that's coming in, and they're just loading up and encircling the city. Is there anything that the United States can do now that we're not doing in order to kind of blunt this siege?
Absolutely. So I just met with the Ukrainian Ambassador to the United States. She's a real champion. There are 20 senators in the room. She was begging all of us to go after Russian oil and gas. 40% of the Russian economy comes from oil and gas. We should go after that, hit them hard. Every Russian barrel of oil is full of blood, and she was begging us to sanction the oil and gas sector of the Russian economy to make it real to Putin. He's not going to get away with this. Secondly, she talked about their petition in The Hague to make Putin a war criminal. I'm going to make that my cause. So here's what I can tell you. She believes that the Russians are going scorched earth, that the Ukrainians have fought very well. They've slowed this down, but let's don't kid ourselves. Putin's on track to destroy this country unless we do everything we can to change his mind, and we're not doing everything we can to change his mind. We need to crush his oil and gas sector, destroy the ruble, and open up American oil production. What the Biden administration's doing on the energy front at home and abroad is unconscionable. They need to change policy now.
Do you think slapping massive sanctions on Russia's energy sector could actually stop the siege right now on the Capitol?
I don't know, but here's what she said. She believed it would do the most damage to Putin possible. What could we do to hurt Putin the most and help the Ukrainians the most? More weapons for the Ukraine, more food, more fuel, more economic assistance. What could we do to hurt Putin the most? Shut down his economy in the area of oil and gas. That's the war machine's revenue source. We have not done the most devastating thing we could to Putin on the economic side. And until we do that, I cannot tell you we've done everything necessary to stop this man. If we had the same will to hurt Putin economically and destroy his economy as the Ukrainians have to stand up to tanks, this thing may end. Nothing's going to change the equation in Putin's mind until he suffers more and the economy of Russia is virtually destroyed. And the only thing to destroy their economy, in my view, their economy is oil and gas sanctions.
Maybe he's not doing that because the Europeans aren't taking the lead on that, but who knows? Do you think that the Stingers we're providing and the Javelins that we've also provided, we've seen how effective they can be against the Russian tank situation? Do we need to load up more Stingers and Javelins into that country right now? Because, you know, they put up a good fight so far, but I don't know how long the Ukrainians can hold out.
That's really a great question. I asked that very question. How much longer can you fight? They're going to fight to the death, by the way. But they said if they had more Stingers and Javelins, they could make it harder on the Russians. And the longer this goes, the more public opinion turns against Putin at home and abroad, the better off we are. So they're begging for sanctions against the Russian oil and gas sector, and they want all the Javelins and Stingers they can get. Thank you, Germany, for sending more weapons in. The EU did a brave thing. I want to be bipartisan, but they asked Israel. No bigger fan of Israel than Lindsey Graham for Stingers, and apparently Israel said no. So I'm going to get on the phone to Israel. You know, we stand up for Israel with the Iron Dome, and Putin is a thug. He's a war criminal. He's destroying a sovereign nation called Ukraine. And if we don't get Ukraine and Russia right, the Chinese are going to move on Taiwan, and the Iranians are going to break out for a bomb. So it's in everybody's interest for the Ukrainians to prevail here.
Why, in the midst of all this, is the Biden administration negotiating a return to the nuclear deal with the Iranians? Does that make sense to you?
I'm trying to measure myself here. Thank you for having me on the show. We're working together the best we can. I'm all in for more aid, lethal aid, more economic aid. But it's unconscionable to me that America is not leading the charge to sanction the Russian oil and gas sector, and they're completely tone deaf when it comes to Iran. Trump put Iran in a box and they're about to let them out of the box. Money flowing to the Ayatollah will flow to the war machine called Hezbollah and Hamas to harass Israel and destroy the Mideast. Trump had us in energy independence mode, and Biden has taken off the table all the things President Trump did to make us energy independent. I know you don't like Trump. I understand you won the election. I accept the results of the election. But I'm begging the Biden administration to adjust course. Open up American oil and gas reserves to help our allies, to lower gas prices here, and crush Putin's oil and gas economy. That's where the war machine gets its revenue. If they're not willing to do those two things, then they're not really in it to win it.
I think we'll find out if they are in it to win it tomorrow night during the State of the Union. Lindsey Graham, thank you so much.